Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the final episode of Doki Doki Literature Club, where we finish the side stories. So today we have reflection and self-love. So we're done with Sayori's side stories, and now we're going to move on to some more. So here we go, guys. This is reflection. Without further ado, let's begin. So let's see what we have. Am I bothering you? No. Okay, just checking. It's hard to tell since you always look so into it when you're reading. It makes me scared to interrupt. Well, it's within my expectations to be interrupted when I read here, mainly when I'm by myself, that I don't like it. That makes sense. I guess you're here in the first place and you're more ready to socialize, even if it takes a little bit of prodding. It's not so bad to be social but let others do the work, so it can be healthy to put myself in a social environment every now and then. It's mostly difficult when I don't know anyone, or there are too many people, or everyone's being too silly for me to keep up with. Yuri glances around the room at Sayori and Natsuki. Sayori has her head cocked back and her mouth open, trying to catch pieces of a cookie that Natsuki's lobbing into the air, but the pieces keep bouncing off her face and hitting the floor. Maybe I should say something? No need. They just ran out of cookie. What a waste. They've really become good friends, haven't they? I'm happy. Sayori seems particularly good at making that happen. Between the two of them are on the energetic side, so I suppose it works out well. Not coming to think of it, you and I haven't had a chance to talk one-on-one, have we? Oh, it may be partially my fault since I'm supposed to be the one engaging club members. Not at all. I've probably formed a habit of drawing minimal attention to myself. The responsibility is equally on me, at least to display some openness to engage. What about during times like lunch? Do you meet up with friends? I just read. Oh. But I like it that way. It feels nice to be carried off again after a morning of classes. Do you always read fantasy? Well, not always. I suppose it's all I've read recently, but only because I'm in the middle of this series. There's 2 more books after this one. But those long books suit you well, since you spend so much time reading. Well, fantasy may be my favorite, but after that, I'm more or less indiscriminate to genres. I'll read anything with depth and maturity. Oh yeah? Well, even like romance? Well, there are a lot of books that have elements of romance in them. Oh, come on, Yuri, you know what I mean. Monica lowers her voice. It's a guilty pleasure of mine, so I won't tell any one of you do. Maybe when I was in middle school. I was really lonely and people were mean to me a lot, so I just kind of felt like, please don't make me think about the past. Sorry, I just got super curious. You know, we should totally pick out a romance novel to read. That'd be so much fun. Absolutely not. Really? Even if it's just between us? Trying someone who has no shame like Natsuki. Ouch. Sorry, I swear I didn't mean that. Like it was my fault for pressing you. I'm like different things in my past too, you know. Feel too embarrassed to re-experience. Nothing wrong with growing out of things. It happens to everyone. For instance, Natsuki's interest in manga reminds me of how intense I used to be about my own interests. Did you think that she'll likely grow out of it too? Hey, were you talking about me? No, we were just talking about how our interests changed over the years. When did you get into manga, Natsuki? A couple years ago, I guess. I was already sort of into it before that, but it wasn't really going hard until then. Oh yeah? What was it that inspired you to get more into it? I don't know. I guess, let me think. After I discovered a series I really liked. Yeah, I was just, like, really fed up with a lot of things. I was super into this one series that I really related to. I guess I had an edgy phase where I just hated everyone around me and wanted to be myself. Hey, kinda like Yuri. Monica? Sorry. That's completely wrong. So, it's so cool that you both really found your thing. They're almost like opposites, but it sounds like they helped you through a lot of hard times. You know it. Wow, what the heck? Is that book even bigger than the last one you were reading? It's technically slightly longer, but not by very much. How high do you think it would go if you stacked the whole series? He estimates by holding her hand above her head, sizing up an imaginary stack. I have to get one of those mangas like 50 volumes long, so I can say I read more than you. Not that I have the money for that. Please, I would hardly count when your books are only a few words per page. I know, I was just joking. I can never actually read books like yours. It's too boring for me. Yuri shoots a glare at Natsuki. It's not boring. Chill, I said for me, not for you. I can have my own opinion, but I just think it's too convoluted. Sayori, are those on the floor? Gross. So wash your hands before touching any of my books. My hands aren't dirty. Just do it. The oils are there, even if you can't see them. Fine. He trots out the door and Natsuki follows. Yuri looked a little upset. What kind of nerve does she have calling my hobby boring? Well, she did correct herself. Hardly. She was so condescending. I don't mind if she thinks it's not for her. I already understand that it's not for everyone. She knows well how much these mean to me, so how about just leaving me alone and easily telling me things you hate about it? I'm sorry, Yuri. You may be right. This won't be the last time people have strong feelings about what they like and don't like, especially in a literature club. So I should figure out how to mediate discussions to keep them positive and constructive. For the record, I've always been impressed by the level of creativity in your books, and also your ability to get through them so quickly. Thank you. Okay, well, this is something that I'll have to think about and revisit. I'm sure I can help Natsuki find some common ground with you. Common ground isn't necessary. I just wish to be respected. Then, either way, I'll do my best. I'm skeptical when it comes to Natsuki. I trust you, Monica, but I'm skeptical. So this is a story between Monica and Yuri. Natsuki and Yuri, that's the next story, though. Okay, everyone, we have a special club meeting today. As you know, the Literature Club is a place where we get to share things that we're really passionate about. But that also means we should be mindful how we respond to each other's feelings. I think we have a chance to turn our differences into a positive energy for each other. Okay, want to some funny? What if the ending of all these stories is where Guillermo joins the club? Like, it's like where Sayori just starts like talking about it, and then it's like the moment I'm brought in, that's where it ends. That'd be awesome. That'd be pretty sick. I don't think that's gonna happen, but it would be cool. I think we have a chance to turn our differences into positive energy for each other. I should be being a little dramatic about this. This is important to me. Oh, sorry, I just feel like you're getting accused of something. No, I'm not accusing anyone of anything. Sorry if I come off that way, but our conversation yesterday made me reflect on the power of language. And I think it'd be a good topic for the literature club, don't you think? I'm sure we're gonna have differences in opinion a lot, so I need to make sure that we're prepared to keep a positive atmosphere in the club. You say so. Sure. The cool thing about language is that it gives us a lot of different ways to express the same ideas or emotions. We have a lot of control over how we want the other person to feel or receive in our thoughts. It's good for poetry, narratives, casual conversation, and basically anything. For example, Siri, what's your favorite food? I have them organized by categories. We start with snacks, you give me full meals. Should I include breakfast? Oh, jeez. Okay, how about your favorite fruit? That's easy. Cherries. Really? Oh, so cherries taste nasty. What? Cherries are delicious. Whoa, that's a pretty strong reaction. I don't understand how somebody can think cherries are nasty. I don't like cherries either. Sorry, Sayori. How does it make you feel? I don't know, sad? Defensive, maybe? Yeah, I got defensive. See? The reason you have such a strong reaction wasn't just because I don't like cherries, it's because you felt like your opinion was under attack. It's weird, right? Something like taste is completely subjective. When I say something like cherries taste nasty, I'm using objective language. I'm challenging Sayori's reality that cherries are delicious with my own, which is that cherries are nasty. Wait, hold on. How is this objective? Whatever. How is this objective when you said it was only your opinion? It has to do with the way our brains interpret the words. You're talking about the reality of the cherries, not your feelings about them. Like Sayori. Let's rewind for a second and pretend I didn't tell you that I think cherries are nasty. Good. So what if I said I tried cherries the first time and they're not for me? It's not got the kind of flavor I enjoy. Well, that's fine. As long as you don't call them nasty. Nasty is a nasty word. Okay, so cherries was kind of a weird example, but I think gets the point across. This time around, instead of talking about cherries, talk about my feelings, and Sayori didn't get offensive. So instead of clashing with one another, it's like we received an invitation to talk about our differences. Yuri, you don't need to take notes. I'm not going to quiz you or something. I know that. I was just... sorry, I didn't mean to call you out. You can do whatever you'd like. But does anybody have any thoughts so far? Yeah, I just feel like I shouldn't have to put all my language through a filter just to protect someone's feelings. Well, you don't have to. The choice is yours on how you want to come across to other people. I'm only suggesting it as a tool to turn your differences into a positive experience rather than an argument, right, Sayori? Whatever you say, cherry hater. Oh, come on. Sayori actually liked cherries. I was just doing that to help demonstrate. What the heck? I've been duped. I'm sorry, Sayori. I'll make it up to you later. How about a cherry sundae? You're welcome to dupe me anytime, my beloved president. Buying your people's loyalty. How deplorable. Oh, like you would turn out a free sundae, Yuri. You were certainly a fan of those cupcakes I brought in the other week. I was reading and not keeping track of them. Oh, that's enough. We're getting off topic. Oh, I love that. So now we have the gist of it. How about we try something more relevant to the club? Like, manga, right? Like mangoes. Let's try to have a productive discussion of our differences in opinion. Yuri, do you want to start? Well, I'd rather not. No. How come? Because I don't see anything productive can come from that. You're just gonna start a fight. No, it'll be fine. That's why I'm here to moderate. Let's just have a calm and rational discussion. If you're going to regulate an argument between two people, that ain't gonna work. Conflict will arise. Yeah, give me a little more credit. I'm not a child. I don't have to coddle my feelings. I always think it's more respectable just to speak your mind. Respectable? Yuri's person changes of the word. As Monica recalled, being respected was the crux of the matter for Yuri. Well, the point of the exercise isn't exactly like, it's fine. I have nothing against anyone personally. You're entitled to enjoy whatever it is you like. I just prefer more depth and nuance in my reading material. I look for stories that are more imaginative, sophisticated beyond the surface level. Oh, well, that's just a misunderstanding then. I thought you were gonna say the mangas for children or something. Like, I don't hear enough of that. But there's plenty of deep manga. I'm not clueless about manga. I read my own fair share when I was younger. What? You serious? How come you never told me? Because I'm past that point in my life, and I prefer not to revisit it. I prefer more mature things now. Excuse me. Okay, hold on. Can I jump in here? Try to keep things subjective. Because if you imply manga is immature, aren't you implying that someone is immature for being into it? This is going poorly. Well, maybe it's immature to judge people for having different tastes than you. Natsuki. Nobody's immature. I've read Natsuki's manga and Yuri's fantasy, and I love them both in their own way. Okay. It's great that you like it, but I still find it boring. Boring is subjective. Okay? It bores me. That's subjective. But I mean, the thing about it is, this is ridiculous. You see why I didn't want to participate in this? I knew it's going to make people upset. I'm not upset. Like I said, I don't care what other people think. But I always got the impression that you secretly looked down upon me, so I'm glad my suspicions were confirmed. That's not true at all. You're making assumptions. You can't blame me for getting defensive, and nobody ever has the last bit of respect for the things that I'm into. The only thing I look down upon is when people make fun of me just for being myself and try to mind my own business. What? Have you looked in a mirror? Tell me again about respect of the calling of my interests, immature. You can't. Please, stop. Please. You don't mean the things you're saying right now. Let's be friends. Jeez, thank you, Sayori. I didn't mean for this to happen, good lord. Well, it did. So please don't invite yourself to try and solve any of the problems next time, okay? Her piercing words send the clever into a choked silence as she gathers her things. She leaves. Oh, Yuri left or Monica left? Holy crap. Never heard her sound like that before. She must be so annoyed. Well, you weren't very nice either, so I was just saying, how did this even happen? It's my fault. Yuri wasn't wrong. I should try to moderate a conflict. I shouldn't try to moderate a conflict when I know how bad I am dealing with conflicts. It would be a stupid thing for me to do. It's nobody's fault, and it wasn't stupid. Everyone in the club is a nice person. Nobody would have expected this. I guess we're sensitive about the things we really love. Honestly, she kind of brought it upon herself. Like I said, I don't care if you're not into manga, but if you actually look down on other people for it, it's kind of the point I was trying to make in the first place. It's not about sugarcoating things, but recognizing and understanding our differences. You could have just said that. You didn't have to, like, try to create an entire argument about stuff. Jeez. Yuri actually looks down on me. Why? Because you're so short. I'm sorry. And nothing to do with the word choice or anything like that. I see what you're trying to do, but I really think the problem here is her. Not just like the way we talk to each other, right? I mean, Yuri isn't like that. She's a lot sweeter than you're giving her credit for. I still should be reflecting on this, and I think everyone should. That's the story. Reflection. It'll be fine. I'll figure something out. Wow, I'm just like saying that instinctively. I'm upsetting myself to cause more problems. This wasn't your fault, Monica. You don't have to beat yourself over it. It kind of was Monica's fault, but you know, whatever. If you ask me, it's good that the truth finally came out, because I can just move on now. But, it's fine. I promise. Let's get our mind off this, okay? In fact, it's a good opportunity to read some manga without having to worry about Yuri's superiority complex. Don't be mean. I'll talk or read manga or whatever you want, but don't be mean to my friends, okay? Sorry. I'm just bitter. Everything will be okay? I mean, I don't have the answers, but at least I know that we're all good people and don't want to hurt each other. So it'll be a learning experience. Yay! Monica says that, but her uneasiness is given away by how much she has to force a reassuring tone in her voice. This was bound to happen eventually. Natsuki and Yuri have engaged with each other at the least out of everyone. This is the reason. Sayori and Natsuki proceeded to distract themselves with manga. Monica sighs to herself, unable to shake her worried thoughts. Will the club really just have to come to terms with the fact that some members are incompatible with others? Monica desperately doesn't want to admit that, but Sayori doesn't either. For once, the solution doesn't seem to be in sight. Alright, so music. Right here we got. So it looks like Reflection Part.8. As well, might as well just do it now. Hold on. I'm just making sure. I'm sorry. Okay, let's do this. A new day arrives. Sayori arrives at the club room earlier than usual. That is not late. As she enters, it appears to be empty still. Jeez, everyone's like terrible. I'd be there early, like all the time. Like the first one there, like 10 minutes early. So she sits down at a desk and pulls out a sheet of paper, primed to jot down her thoughts. Sayori has made a habit of scribbling her thoughts into paper whenever possible. She serves as a tends to serve as her best inspiration for poetry. My heart feels vacant because the ship sailed away. Yo! Yeah! Natsuki! Natsuki poked her head from behind the closet door. Sorry, didn't mean to scare you. Would have been a lot more awkward if I didn't say anything. I thought you want to listen. I thought you want me to listen in on your poetry thing. Yeah. Thanks for realizing that. So let you finish that up then. No, it was. I mean, I just do whenever it's convenient. You're not interrupting. Where's Monica, by the way? Oh, she's out in the hallway. Huh? Why? Well, just in case she runs into Yuri. Sometimes Yuri's too nervous coming to the club by herself. So, oh, jeez, Yuri really let things bother her for that long. She can't control her feelings. For some people, it's really hard to cope when you get a bad thought in your head. Maybe you can distract yourself for a little while, but as soon as it's just you and your thoughts again, it comes back. Ugh. I just want to have a normal club meeting. It's all easier to pretend like it never happened. They'll just ignore it and move on. I don't want to be bothered by this. So stupid. Her opinion on me doesn't even matter anyway. Besides, it makes you feel really guilty, and I hate that too. It's okay to have feelings. It doesn't make you weak. Let's figure this out together. Fine. Only because you're so good at this stuff. Let's try to come up with a happy scene. Maybe that will help us understand where your bad feelings are coming from. Well, I was happy the way things were before we had that conversation yesterday. What part of the conversation made you upset? Was it Yuri being mean about the manga? Maybe, I doubt it though. Because my friends and other people make fun of manga all the time, but I just brush it off and ignore them. But sometimes it really got to me this time, and I hate that I'm letting that happen. Is it because it came from Yuri? No, why would that matter? I mean, well, maybe. I just hate that she thinks she's so much better than me just because she likes to pretend to be all sophisticated. Yeah, that's what it is. I just let other people decide. At least other people decide they don't like me or manga or whatever, but Yuri acts like she's too good if you give it a chance. I'm sorry. Everyone deserves a chance. Yeah, exactly. Did you give Yuri's books a chance? After this? Obviously not. What about before this? Well, I would until I got bored, which wouldn't take very long, but if you actually keep an open mind, then it's not hard to realize that a story can be deep and meaningful without being needlessly complicated. I see. But you know, I like Yuri's books. Yeah, but you like manga more, right? Yuri shakes her head. I like them both. I like them in different ways, but I like them both. I mean, the manga, it's really honest and fun and just easy to let go with. And the fantasy has a lot to interpret and uncover, and it's really rewarding to have some good and quiet time together with it. But the most important thing is that both the manga and the fantasy are true to themselves. So I love them both. And I think there's room for both of them to be in the same club together. And I just feel like maybe we have a lot more in common than you would think. How do you get along with everybody so well? I was getting into fights with people. Like, first it was with Monica when I was new to the club, and it was with you, and now it's with Yuri. And I'm always like, I'm just that person being such a jerk. If they just realize that, then we can at least get along. But nobody else has this problem. I just keep running away from the reality that everybody's just a jerk to me and that nobody likes me. I don't know why, and I don't know what to do about it. I don't know what's wrong with me. Hate it. Natsuki. Harry puts a comforting hand on Natsuki's shoulder. You're a wonderful person. You deserve to be loved as much as everyone else. Everyone has different ways they like to communicate, and you know, sometimes that makes it harder for us to understand each other. I think that sometimes we get lucky and we make friends who are really good at the same kinds of communication. Sorry, yawn. And it feels like you can easily connect with them. But other times, if both people are really nice, it's easier for them to misunderstand each other or to get the communication wrong. That's something that Yuri struggles a lot with too. It'd be really hard. It takes a lot of reflection, self-awareness, and vulnerability. I'm bad at that one. Vulnerability. I always have to be the strongest. What do you mean? Just tell me about that part of you. Well, sounds stupid. I was really used to people being mean to me, and my friends, and I guess my dad. Like when I don't get good grades, or even stupid things, and my room isn't clean. What am I gonna do? Cry about it? Or let myself get upset? I just letting them win. I'm better than that. I'm better than all of them. So things always have to be everyone else's fault. Feels like if something goes wrong, if there's a tiny hint that it might be my fault, then I just get really angry and I find ways to blame everything else instead. Do you see yourself better than Yuri? Said that now, I just sound really full of myself. No, our thoughts and our feelings are two different things. Even if you don't like our feelings, we still understand them if you want to learn more about themselves. That's a part of vulnerability, you know? Accepting that we have feelings that we don't like. I hate that. It feels like a bad person. My feelings want to tell me that I'm so much better than her. She's the judgmental know-it-all who's stuck in her edgy phase, and I'm just way above that garbage. But I'm terrible for feeling that way. You're not terrible. You are not your feelings. But you are not your feelings. Say that to yourself out loud. Fine. I am not my feelings. The way that I like to picture it is that those feelings are like your roommates. You live in the same house, you gotta see each other every day. And if you can't ignore each other most of the time, you gotta run into each other now and then, and it feels like it's, anyways. So, the other option is to get to know each other. And communicate, learn from each other, and maybe even help you have to change for the better. Oh gosh, my chair. I hope you understand. I don't even know so much about this stuff. I just have a roommate that can be really hard to get along with. Called depression. Depression? You're like the happiest person I know. I am not my feelings. I want to be a good person like you. Oh, you little sweetheart. We're all good people. You and Yuri and Monica. I think Yuri will eventually learn that about you. Asuka remained silent, feeling a little overwhelmed. Despite Sayori's kind reassurance, a complicated mixture of pain and sadness seems to fill her, as though flowing from a wound inside her. Was that a result of her vulnerability? No, it wasn't as though she was inflicted a wound after becoming vulnerable. It was though she began to rediscover an old wound, one that cannot simply be bandaged and left for any longer. New rooms. Yuri, what are you doing all the way over here? I was looking for you. Please don't yell at me. I'm not gonna yell at you. I just want to say I'm sorry about what happened yesterday. It was unfair for me to put everyone on the spot like that. Next time I'll try to jump in and solve everyone's problems. Like it's like a bad habit of mine. You're not mad at me? I thought you were the one mad at me. I was so awful yesterday. He curls up, recalling the details of the argument. I can't have a normal conversation without saying anything wrong and making everyone upset. Hold on, that's not even what happened at all. Let's talk about this, okay? He pauses for a second, then manages a nod. Monica takes a seat next to her on the staircase. I'm having a lot of negative thought patterns and I can't get away from them. What kind of negative thought patterns? Like everyone hates me, especially Natsuki. Well, that's terrible. I don't think Natsuki hates you. How do you know? Well, because Monica thinks back to the times she found herself in altercation with Natsuki. Her display of maturity from Monica was another made Natsuki reevaluate her own feelings as well. I think Natsuki's naturally defensive. I think she acts me when she feels the need to protect herself, but she knows she's really not a bad person to find. I think she'd be really thoughtful and considerate. She's just, well, I guess the way it works is that she wants to receive some degree of kindness first before she feels comfortable returning it. Oh. That means the burden is on me, and I don't know how to say things that make people like me. Like I'm open my mouth, she shakes her head and tugs on her hair. It's okay, or you don't need to beat yourself up. I don't think anyone would like. I think anyone would like you if they had the chance to get to know you. Well, unfortunately, the opposite is true. That's why I'm not talking to anyone in the first place, because everyone's used to think I'm weird or talk behind my back, whatever. That's just what happens when I draw attention to myself. Welcome to the high school. Natsuki even said she found it more respectable when people speak their mind, so I did, and then she hated me anyway. That was enough to confirm my fears. Sayori and I like you. You got to know you a lot by now, right? Here doesn't seem to have a response. Hey, what do you think of Natsuki? I don't think about her. It's not what I meant, really. I just, I've already had an opinion of her. I do. What is it? Natsuki seems to bring out the worst in me, and I feel really ashamed of it. I like to think of myself as a fairly sophisticated person, just for someone to treat me like... So, for someone to treat me like I'm inferior, despite my taste, that's just the worst kind of insult coming from someone like her. And it makes me think bad things about her. But everyone else seems to like her, so the only explanation is that it's me doing something wrong again. My feelings about her are wrong. And I'm wrong for getting so upset for some sort of childish and inconsequential. No, your feelings are never wrong. Well, they're not right. That's the thing. Feelings are never right nor wrong, you know? They're just a state of being that we don't have control over. But that doesn't mean they have to control us. Feels like something I learned when I first started the club. We can hate ourselves for being a certain way about things, or we can, just acknowledge that they exist, try to understand them better. But I can never mad at you for feeling a certain way. It's about how you handle them. And I think working through feelings is a great opportunity for teamwork. Here was a dejected expression. It makes it sound so easy. You're so mature. Those are good people. This is a child in comparison. Oh, Yuri, I'm far from perfect. These are learned skills. They didn't come naturally to me either. It's really hard to, reflect on yourself and separate your feelings from your thoughts. I just want to be a good person. Well, I think it takes a good person to get this far. That's not good enough. I want to be able to communicate it to her. Communicate what? How I feel. How it makes me feel frustrated and upset that she's so negative and dismissive of the things that mean so much to me. And how it reminds me of me. Because I know what it's like to feel misunderstood and angry at everyone. And I know that telling yourself you're better than everyone is just a defense mechanism. We're just people, fragile, we're unstable. I'm tired of getting in the way, and I can't stand up when the piece is disturbed like this. Well, you can't focus on your reading when the piece is disturbed, right? Because the Literature Club should be happy for everyone. Monica looks at Yuri in adoration. She looks at Yuri, must be rubbing off on me because I really want to hug you now. Sorry, I didn't mean to make you uncomfortable. No, I mean, well, if you wanted to, I wouldn't really mind. So Monica pulls Yuri into a short embrace. So gentle. I love when you communicate your feelings. You're so lucky to see that side of you. I'm sure Natsuki will too. I'm gonna write her a letter. A letter? What a great idea. Just because I'm not good at talking, especially under pressure. I always let my feelings get the best of me, and if I can say all the important things and say things I don't mean, well, I think a letter would be wonderful. It's a nice way to communicate. His face hardens with determination. People don't naturally gravitate towards me like they do for Yuri and Sayori. My personality isn't suited for that, and I wouldn't want it to be. But something I've learned is that friendships don't always just magically appear out of thin air. For instance, I would never see myself making friends with someone like Sayori. We're the opposite in a lot of ways, but I'm friends with her because she put in so much effort into understanding me so that we can get along. And I think it's the same with you. You both give me a lot of time and patience. I wonder if she feels the same way. Natsuki? Yuri nods. I always thought that if I wanted to make more friends, I had to be somebody that I'm not. But there's that type of person or a magical formula that I have in order to allow someone to like me. And that's just like me to think that. I'm so occupied with myself that I fail to understand other people. Yuri shakes her head. Friendship happens when you think about the other person. When you offer time and effort to understand them and respect them and trust. Just that they also want to be a good person. Persons are people. Just nothing I'm saying makes sense. That's what I learned from my observations. The Literature Club observations. I'm just caught by surprise. Yuri always gets to herself so much that it's so unusual to hear her suddenly talk about the club like this. Yuri gently smiles to herself. Always let me listen to your thoughts about people's. Sayori too, and it makes me happy because I learn a lot of things. That's so sweet. I had no idea that meant that much to you. Monica never thought much of it, but in the past weeks, Yuri seemed to be especially attentive when it came to problems and concerns of others, always wanting to listen and learn more things about her friends in the club. It's true, Sayori and Monica are naturally more comfortable with other people and can easily work through situations of conflict, but that doesn't make them better people. Everyone has strengths and weaknesses and the capacity to improve, and the first step towards improving oneself is all reflection. Reflection. It's something that Yuri never gave herself enough credit for, and that Monica can recognize as an incredible trait. And with that, her confidence in the club is restored. UCG? A very shy girl with pretty hair is wandering through the bustling lunchtime hallways, her fist pressed into her collarbone. It says knife. Stands at the door, glancing around before peering inside. Monica sitting and chatting with a group of unknown friends. Yeah, I suspected this was a bad idea after all. Suddenly, Monica glanced through the door, making the girl panic and duck out of sight. She could regain composure and just had to leave for sure. The classroom door gently opens. Yuri! What a surprise to see you during lunch! Yuri squeaks in response. Please help me. What, is everything okay? Yuri shakes her head. I don't know how to write letters. Ah, thank goodness, that was some kind of emergency. Monica really glanced over her shoulder at her other friends. Want some help? We can go find an empty classroom or something. Is that okay? I feel bad taking you away from your friends. It's totally fine, I promise. We weren't even doing anything. 1 second. She walks back to the classroom saying something like, I gotta go to her friends. She grabs a pen off her desk and returns to Yuri. Yeah, it's fine, somewhere quiet. The music room. It's very nice in there. The two of them set off. How are you today? Me? Yes. Oh gosh, sorry, I just got caught off guard. Doing well today, just tired. Never seem to get enough sleep during the week. How come? I don't know, I'm just really distracted and get sucked into things and start neglecting the time. Me too, I do that too. His classroom is empty, so let's go in here. As appearing inside, Monica opens the classroom door and the two of them enter. Sorry, I need to stretch. Here's a moment of relaxation ends. He watches the Monica moves to 2 chairs, the same desk, and then obeys. Monica beckons her to take a seat. He stares out at the empty desk. You nervous? I don't want to do this. We don't have to. We can come up with something else. He shakes her head. It's my chance to do something good. I have to take initiative. Gosh, must be really determined. No harder to step out of your comfort zone. I'm sure to encourage you. Harry pushes through her anxiety and grabs a handful of line paper from her notebook. Then she picks up her pen. New CG! Hey, you're left-handed. That's neat. I'm left-handed as well. Yeah. Don't have to worry about bumping your arm. Monica playfully rubs her shoulder against Yuri's. Sorry. Being silly, I guess. Anyway, do you have to start by listing the different things you wanted to say to her? Yuri thinks. Feel embarrassed all of a sudden. It's okay. How about some of the things you said to me yesterday, but never mind, I guess I'll try. It takes a moment longer, attention evident, and writes the word reflection. About my reflection on our behavior. The key question is why we act like this towards each other, but have been able to separately be friends with Sayori and Monica. That's me. Yes, it is. So, Yuri thinks, I've been able to befriend the two of you just because you've taken the time to understand my needs and respect my interests. Same goes for Natsuki too. We started off pretty hostile because I'm so worried about getting what I wanted, because she wanted to respect me more than anything else. Once I saw making it all about me, she was able to do the same. I want to do that too. What kind of things do you want to do for her? I want to do the same things for her that I like to receive. I like when people respond positively to the things I talk about and not just brush me off. I like when my feelings are taken seriously. I like it when you and Sayori trust that I want to be a good person, even when I'm not doing a good job at it. Well, let's write those things down. Okay? Really write some things down. Most important thing is to remember here that Natsuki is feeling vulnerable, so you have to make sure that the letter hits her first. It's hard when your feelings are hurt, but it never helps to tell someone that all the things they're doing wrong. I think first you have to make sure that they're ready to respect them and listen to them and admit the things you could do better instead. And finally, ask what you would like in return. How does that sound like a structure? 3 paragraphs, 1 for each of the points. I like that. I thought that's so disorganized and no way to come up with any structure. So amazing at these things. Stop. You've done so much more than I have, you know. You spent so much time reflecting and being open-minded. That's the hardest thing for anyone to do. All I'm doing is simply put it on a piece of paper. I think you're the amazing one. Monica gives Yuri a quick squeeze. As she lets go, she gets caught surprised by Yuri curls her fingers to hook Monica's hand in place. While they sit like that in silence with the occasional scratching of Yuri's pen against the paper. Yesterday, you told me something that I'm thinking about a lot. What was that? Think about how feelings aren't right or wrong, they're just a state of being we need to come to terms with. Maybe think about how a person's behavior isn't always how they decide to be. It's always how they made up their past experiences and their insecurities. I think it helps me understand other people as actual people rather than as insignificant side characters who are out to get me somehow. Is that how you felt about Natsuki? Very nice. But in reality, everyone's trying their best and everyone wants to be happy. Monica peers over Yuri's paper, but to her surprise, Yuri pulls it in closer, partially covering it with her arm. I have to be able to read it to help out, you know. That's okay. My thoughts are a lot more organized now, after being able to talk to you about it. I'm actually putting it on paper, realizing I prefer others not to read it. Yuri laughs softly to herself, a rare expression. And I'm glad to hear that, actually. Somehow keeps finding a way. I somehow keep finding ways to butt into this whole thing. I've done enough damage. It's also been so wonderful talking about this. I mean, I always thought you were really smart, but Yuri smiles. I will always be terrible at these things. People are just so incomprehensible to me. I'll never get the hang of being one. But listening to you, it really made me help to make sense of some things. Just don't call it damage, please. I'll give you a gentle smile. Can't believe I came to this club looking for fantasy geeks and all I got was real friends who value me. Is that a joke? Of course it is. I still can't tell with you. Sorry. No, I love it. Please, never change. As you wish. Yuri glances at the clock. We're almost out of time. Will you be able to finish? Before the end of the day, probably. I don't want to come to the club the same day that Natsuki reads it. Too shy. I can give it to her instead if you'd like. Yuri nods. As long as you promise not to read it. Of course, I promise. Thank you. Didn't she, like, help out? She probably would have read it anyway. I'll message you when it's ready. Monica nods. Good luck if you need me. Yuri returns a nod as the two depart. Right. We got even more pictures. You got that thing. We got this thing. We got this thing right here. I already looked at that. Okay. We got all the pictures. I got one more poem. I'm assuming this is the letter. We got all these CGs. And crazy stuff. And secret poems. I only need one more. Anyways. Let's move on to the final side story. Self-love. Let's do this. It's only been one day since Yuri's letter was delivered to Natsuki with Monika's help. Because Yuri turns out to attend the club meeting that day, she and Natsuki haven't faced each other since. Although it was only lunchtime, Yuri finds herself anxiously counting the hours until she will need to face the outcome of her efforts. Whether good or bad. And because of the passing by of students making her feel even more anxious, Yuri picked up the most secluded spot she could spend her lunch. Obviously. Because the staircase is under maintenance, no student would have any reason for coming up here. It's just relaxing feeling and have a moment of solitude over a frantic school day. Ah, how nice. Eep. What are you doing here? Yuri grips her book with enough force to wrinkle the pages beneath the pressure of her thumbs. What are you doing here? I just came to get a drink from the vending machine. You're the ones out of the drink I like. Yuri notices Natsuki fidgeting with a few coins between her fingers. She nods, avoiding eye contact. Natsuki, also looking away, shuffles over to the vending machine. It's so quiet that every one of her movements seems to reverberate through her entire stairwell. After far too long, she finally receives her beverage. She then fidgets with the place of coins, some kind of iced tea, and instead of leaving it right away, Natsuki stands in place and glances all around her. It's like way too quiet back here. It's creepy. I mean, that's not what I meant. I mean, it's totally cool. It's your thing or whatever. But I can see how it suits you. And so, not because I think you're creepy or something. I didn't mean that either. You know, I should stop talking. That seems like a good idea. It's okay. Everything is okay. Yuri finds herself protecting more and taking some words to comfort her after hearing Natsuki stammer herself with a dejection. Seemingly in response, Natsuki approaches the base of the staircase and hesitantly sits down near Yuri. I can leave if you want. Yuri shakes her head. Natsuki twists the cap of her drink and takes a sip. Despite receiving Yuri's general permission. Oh, wait. Yuri continues to read, or at least pretends to. You just sit there for a long time. The tendency seems to fade a little bit as time passes. Even without any words, there seems to be at least something, though it's not clear what that may be. Lunch ends more quickly than expected. Natsuki is the first to stand up with her empty drink bottle. You coming today? To the club? Yuri nods. Sorry for being so awkward. I'm bad at talking about this stuff. I just can't for some reason. I don't know why. I want to eventually. There's no rush, I promise. Thanks. It's the next day. Natsuki appears from around the corner, says doesn't have any machine guns as you reach. She does so. Today she's holding some kind of book as well. Oh, you're here again. Well, I just came here to read this because there aren't any people around here. Oh, I thought you didn't like how quiet it was. Well, I don't, but there's no people here. I see. Natsuki sits down. The mood feels so much different today than it did yesterday. After yesterday's lunch at the club meeting that followed, Natsuki and Yuri begin to feel relaxed around each other again. Although Yuri's letter is still lingering in the back of Natsuki's mind, she continues to detour around it. It's okay that I'm here? Yeah, I don't care. Mostly just don't like dealing with the crap I get from my friends about it. Especially like since they just assumed I stopped reading manga after I joined the literature club. I'm trying to hide it from them exactly, but I just don't want it to come up again now. I've waited for so long for this new volume to come out. Literally months at this point. You don't have any other friends who are into manga? Not unless online friends count. And so Yuri, but that's different because she's not really into it, she just likes it, you know what I mean? Honestly, you're lucky that the books you're into are these look like books, you know, to feel like everyone's constantly judging you about what you're reading. That would be so awful. Especially since I already hate attention so much. Well, it's a good thing I have thick skin, I guess. By the way, I would totally recommend you find some friends online you haven't already. If you're like me and you have no one to share your hobbies with. Oh, I have online friends. Since middle school, actually. I was especially desperate back then. It's somewhat embarrassing to reminisce about those days. Sometimes I feel like the me from a few years ago would have benefited from a good smack across the face. Now, whatever, we're all just stupid kids back then anyway. Some of the fanfics I wrote, I gotta use a pseudonym. But I liked it at the time, and I got all the fulfillment out of it. And plus, I could look back on the days. I could look back and say with confidence I've become a better person since then. So I don't think I would change anything. I wonder if a few years from now we'll think the same thing about our current selves. Probably. That doesn't make you uncomfortable? No, of course not. I don't care what other people think of me, especially when someone who doesn't even exist yet. Alright, here. Natsuki raises her hand across her face and forcefully slaps her own cheek. That's from me. That's me from the future coming to terms with me now. Also, ow, I didn't mean to do it that hard. Yuri doesn't seem to react. Then Natsuki surprised Yuri shyly looks the other way before lifting her arm and doing the same thing to herself, loudly smacking her cheek. Yuri turns around and stirs at her laugh, unable to hold a smile, although it was a really funny joke. Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about. I didn't know you had it in you. I don't even know why I did that. Maybe I thought it'd be funny. Sorry, I keep distracting you. You should be looking forward to reading, but I keep going all about some nonsense. I'll let you get to your reading. Ah, right. Yeah, I guess I'll do that then. Conversation ends quickly and Natsuki opens her book. Act 1, Scene 3. Okay. One shower. The whole time you feel distracted by a twist of regret hanging over, or having so abruptly enforced the conversation. I'm about to break this microphone by bending it towards me. Back. Yeah, I'm here to lay low again. Another day has passed. During lunchtime, Natsuki feels to find herself and wandered to the stairwell once more. Hey, did you buy that? Natsuki quickly notices a bottle of iced tea on the staircase where she normally sits. Yuri nods, avoiding eye contact. Well, like, for me? Well, I didn't know you were coming here today, so what if I didn't show up? Well, I just mean, I would have drank it myself, I guess. It was a stupid thing to do. Yeah, sorry. No, it wasn't stupid. I just thought, never mind. What I mean to say is thank you. That's a really nice gesture. Oh, come on. I keep accidentally pressing it early. I do. It was one of the other things that I didn't mean. I swear, please believe me. He pauses and nods. Talking is hard. I get it wrong a lot, too. I believe you. Natsuki exhales in relief. He sits down to Yuri and takes a drink. Knowing Yuri should probably overthinking too much, then Natsuki's tepid response fills her with self-doubt. I'll do something nice for you next time. So please don't feel obligated. I want to. I want to do nice things too. Okay. Thank you. You could thank me after I figure out how to do something nice. I'll do it then too. Natsuki sighs. Nothing. Just reminds me of how I haven't been getting along with my friends lately. I realize why I've been coming here. Well, no, not exactly. I haven't been avoiding them on purpose or anything. They're just other things I'd rather be doing during lunch lately. It being around them, and we're always having fun, but they also just can't take anything seriously. So when I'm feeling serious and their attitudes get real on my nerves. It's gotten worse since I joined the literature club. How come? I don't know. I feel like I used to be really good with putting up with it because it'd be so stupid to cause drama over a joke that I didn't like or something. But I just have a hard time doing that lately. It's my fault for being overly sensitive. If I have a problem, I'm not going to demand for everyone around me to change. But yeah, I know. A lot of Sayori don't really agree with that kind of thing. They're not in my position, so it's not as easy for them to say as I communicate your feelings or whatever. Like somebody, my friend group does that kind of thing, it would just be making an embarrassment of myself. Sorry, none of this has to do anything with you, so I don't even know why I'm talking about it. It's okay. I like listening. But listening to other people's problems, yes, that's weird. Hey, weird? Makes you open-minded. Sorry, I just like learning about other people. You think it's weird? No, that's not weird. I probably just misunderstood, so I don't know. Does that mean I should keep going? If you'd like, okay. I don't know what to talk about now. There's some things that you like about your friends. Well, a lot of things. I mean, they're really fun to hang out with. Like after school and on the weekends. And they really like my baking. And it's fun to complain about school together. Make me laugh a lot. And we have a lot of good memories and inside jokes. Oh, I'm bad at a lot of those things, so all those things that are important to you? Kind of, but they're not things I need to get out of everybody. Everyone in the club is really different from that, but I'm still friends with them too. Well, Sayori really likes her baking, and she makes you laugh, and she complains a lot. Doesn't mean she's anything like my other friends. Well, unlike them, she's a nice person who cares about your feelings. Excuse me? How about you don't talk about my friends in a way you don't know anything about? Natsuki stands up. No, wait! I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. I didn't want to say something bad. Please don't leave. Natsuki sighs and shakes her head. It's fine, as long as you understand that you can't just judge people like that. I'm sorry. Natsuki sits back down. You can't just compare friends like that and measure who's better than who. Everyone's different. I'm sorry. I just don't like people who want to hurt you. The silence stretches between them. You don't want to hurt me. We just like to tease each other about stupid things. It's fun. Hopefully not too often. I don't like that. My voice. I don't like that. Well, that's why I'm friends with them and you're not. You like it? Just don't worry so much about me. It's not worth it. I'm sorry. Wish I knew how to help with social conflicts like how Monica can. She's good at those things. Not really. Also, I don't always want help. Sometimes it's just stuff I have to deal with myself. As Monica Sayori never seem to understand. Sometimes all you do is look at them wrong and they're like, "Oh, what's wrong? Is everything okay?" I just want to mind my own business sometimes. And if I want to talk about things and the only person who understands that is you, so you really shouldn't be hard on yourself. You're not as bad as you think. Oh, you don't need to reassure me or anything. I mean that. Plus, it makes sense that someone who doesn't talk a lot would make a good listener. Thank you. You're all so nice. Really hard for me. It doesn't come naturally at all. It's so weird because I always thought of myself as someone who can't say whatever's on my mind. But I feel like that only works when I'm annoyed or upset or I want to say something mean. Why am I like that? You don't have to answer that. I'm just talking to myself. Your nods remain silent. Natsuki also notices her fidgeting within the pages of her book. How can we like reading so much? Well, a lot of reasons. I just get sucked into it really easily. It's so immersive, and I want to be a part of it. I think there are a lot of things that people in real life can make me feel uncomfortable and frustrated, especially when it comes to following social conventions and group interactions. I just don't really understand it. I have no real desire to participate, but it's different with books. It always feels like I want to be around the characters. It makes you feel like there's a strong emotional connection with them in ways I never felt like with real people. So in that way, it can sometimes feel more real than real life. Really? Is that hard for you to be around people like all the time? Fairly often, especially in group settings. When people are making all kinds of conversations, saying jokes and all that. I don't know what to do, so I just disengage. That doesn't get lonely? I don't think so. I can still enjoy spending time with people one-on-one. I have online friends too, of course. Do you ever wish you could be friends with the characters in your books? All the time. I'm so badly, it makes my heart ache. Yeah, me too. Really? Mm-hmm. A lot. Like, more than anything. As Renatsuki mutters that the silence fills the stairwells once more. It's a mutual silence, one full of understanding. Oh boy, that ended. That ended quite abruptly. You got mail! Pause and read if you want, because I'm too bored and I'm too apathetic to read it myself. I've done too much reading of these side stories. I don't need to read more. Alright, so we about to end this one right here. Self-love, part 2! It all comes to a head. The big climax. Hey. Oh, hello. I almost thought you weren't coming today. Yeah, well, that is already more than halfway over, and Natsuki I've been typically meeting you in the stairwell much earlier, since it had been a good way of dodging your friends so you didn't feel like seeing them. Today's holding a large plastic container in both hands. Yawn. I'm tired. I ran into my friends, hung out with them for a while. Is that so? Yeah. Well, it's a good mood today, so I figured I should. I haven't seen him in a while, which I had to come up with an excuse for, but I expected that. Plus, I have way more of these than I don't know what to do, so I figured I'd share them. As he sits down on the lid of the container. You make cupcakes. You know it. Been a while at this point, so I figured it was about time again. You can take one if you want. Here, take the cupcake carefully, twirls it between your fingers. It's brown with dark green frosting and immaculately shaped floral pattern topped with some sort of glittery powder. How pretty. I had to say, so I might not be able to finish it. And for the club, yeah, I guess so. Didn't really think about it, but I just made them. Because was green is Monica's favorite color, right? Well, yeah, but that's not really. Here he takes a small bite. This is green tea flavor. I love green tea. Oh, do you? It was just a random idea I wanted to try, so don't laugh at me. No, I'm not. I just felt happy. Oh, sorry. Usually when never mind. What I mean is that I'm glad. Sorry for me to say dumb things again. I just want to do something else. And this happened to be good at. And I do know you like them from past experience. Yuri turns red to call the time she treated herself rather generously to Natsuki's cupcakes. Ironically, her mouth is too full of cupcake to even stammer an excuse, so she just out her disapproving look. I'd get into baking. Oh, well, I don't know. It always appealed to me. Well, a few years ago, I read this one manga with a lot of baking, so I figured I'd get like super into it for a while. I was making this almost every day. But it's something that I always knew I liked anyway. It's like baking is like art. You get good at it, it just gets more delicious too. Ah yes, art gets more delicious when you're good at it. I'm struggling to imagine myself putting my heart into something so artistic, knowing that I would just be eaten. knowing that it would just be eaten afterwards. Yeah, maybe you're too practical for it. I prefer being on the receiving end. And that's my other favorite part about it. Something I can do that makes a lot of people happy, like unconditionally. Everybody's so thankful, and then the moment you get to be like the bringer of joy. I don't know, it just makes me feel valued. Yeah, I guess that. So you were able to make it up with your friends today? Well, there wasn't anything to make up with them about. We weren't fighting or anything. Oh, you weren't? Maybe I misunderstood. It sounds to be a fight if I lose my cool. And that's unnecessary drama. It only makes things worse. And they're not gonna stop. I mean, it only happens sometimes anyway. It's just the way they are, and I'm the only one who has a problem with it. It's not worth it, especially since I have somewhere to go now and I don't feel like hanging out with them. Oh, I see. Cupcake's empty foil wrapper audibly crinkles as your clenches a fist. I'm glad the situation is resolved, and I'm glad you don't have to avoid them anymore. Yeah, me too. I don't have to bother you during your alone time anymore, since you already have a lot of reading. You should have a lot of reading to catch up on. Yeah. I know that the cupcakes are basically nothing compared to all the stuff you've done for me. The best I can do. So if you can have the rest of them. As you guys, the box slides over to your stares at the box, and she shakes her head and slides them back. You just say them for your other friends. But I made them for you. As your voice whines as she protests. I know, and I like them very much, exactly as you thought. You succeeded, but I know how much you care about making your other friends happy too. And if this is the way you know how to make that happen, then I'm not gonna take it from you. No, they were for making you happy. You make me happy. You're worth more than cupcakes to some people. That's why they want to spend time with you and be your friend. Without warning, tears pour from Natsuki's eyes. She pulls her knees to her chest, starts sobbing into her arms. Natsuki, I'm such a bad person. Yuri stammers, feeling panics. I didn't mean to say something bad. Natsuki shakes her head and wipes her eyes. You didn't. Natsuki tries to choke back her sobs, but struggles to speak through them. I just really hate myself sometimes. It feels so wrong to say those nice things to me. Like I don't deserve it. I'm sorry. No, I am. I'm so difficult. And I can't even think of a single thing about myself that somebody would like. And I hated myself for bothering you during your lunch. I just thought it was my chance to be a good person and be nice and do the things you wrote about in the letter. I know if I tried in the club, Sayori and Monica would be super annoying and make a huge deal out of it. You know? I think a lot about those negative things too about myself. Ugh, my voice is ruining the moment. I never felt like a good person. I always scrutinize everything I say, and later I feel like I said all the wrong things. I just spent so much time thinking about myself, hating myself, and feeling like everyone else must hate me too. So I understand some of that through my own experience. That's why I wanted to write a letter and express my feelings. It pained me so much to see those things as someone that I saw in myself. Natsuki sniffles and rustles through her bag and pulls out some tissues and then hands them to Natsuki. Monica told me that it takes a good person to reflect on these things. The desire to improve yourself makes you a good person, so don't worry much. Also, there are things about you that people would like, so... Like what? Like how you're fun for people to be around. You're not shy and you know how to make people laugh. You're very passionate about things and you know how to take the lead. You care a lot about other people. Just a lot of things. Oh. Now you're making me feel really embarrassed. Well, you're the one who asked. And don't you think I feel embarrassed? Oh, she has to hide a smile and she sighs and fades again. Well, every time I come here, I think it's the last time. Then I keep coming back for some reason. Is that bad? Really confusing. I mean, my friends and I go way back, so ditching them feels like, I don't know. It's like what? Natsuki's voice gets quiet. Maybe I'm scared they'll get mad at me. I really don't know what to do. She pauses. Yuri stares into the distance, tracing her eyes along the patterns of the floor tiles while she thinks to herself. What would you do, hypothetically, if your friends were happy for you instead of mad at you? Happy for what? Happy that your new club is making you happy. Well, that's just not a fair hypothetical. Natsuki says that with a little confidence in her voice. I always tell myself that I don't rely on the approval of others to be happy. And I still feel that way, but I'm spending time with people who put me down whenever I don't have their approval. That's probably what's making me feel so confused, because I'm threatened out of the things that should make me happy. No matter what, it's like I have to be unhappy to be happy. It's making my head hurt. And that must make it really difficult to feel comfortable with yourself. Being made to feel like you're just wrong for being the person that you are. It really goes against everything I believe in, doesn't it? It goes against the kind of person I want to be. I'm fed up with it. I'm fed up with a lot of things. Natsuki presses her palms to the floor and shakes her head. I don't know what's best for me, but I keep convincing myself out of it. It is so much easier to be comfortably unhappy than it is to do something so scary. To do what? You know, to end it. With them? Natsuki nods. I didn't think you were actually considering that as an option. It wasn't until recently. It was just one of those things where, like, it's been a certain way for so long, they just get used to it. Like so much of you has gone into it, it feels like it's just how your life is. And throwing away, throwing like a big part of your life, too. I just feel sick to think about. Natsuki sighs. It's just really scary. It's terrifying. What are you scared of? I don't know, a lot of things. Like being alone, not having anyone to talk to or hang out with. Not being able to replace what I have with them. I don't want them to hate me, but I'm scared they'll hurt me for going against them. Physically? Not physically, but... He clenches her fist. Natsuki, what? If anyone even thinks to cause you harm, I will unleash hell upon them. Natsuki snorts in laughter. Don't laugh at me. I'm sorry. I like that. That's all. Oh. Well, I meant it. I know you did. That gives Yuri an endearing look. I needed it. I will cause Armageddon to rain from the heavens. I'm sorry. As the conversation lapses, Natsuki again slides her box of cupcakes over to Yuri. Just take them, okay? I don't want other people to have them anymore. Are you sure? Natsuki nods. I'm sure. I will then. I'll enjoy them. Natsuki looks away, feeling a warmth spreads through her. Hold on to that feeling, no one will give her courage. We back. Ah, you're here first today. You are reading material. Natsuki sitting in her usual spot, holding a volume of manga while her lunch is beside her. Yuri sits down as well and opens her own book. It sucks when a good series has to come to an end. Like it's such a big part of your life, and then one day you just have nothing left. Makes you feel so empty. Unfortunately, I'm about to experience that myself. I'm on the last book of this series. That sucks. But there's also something satisfying about letting a story conclude. Like, I don't know if I'd want it to go on forever. Maybe, but there's also some things that I wish could. On the other hand, have you ever read something that overstayed its welcome? Oh yeah, definitely. I can think of at least one thing that I've read that got pretty unbearable like halfway through and the ending really sucked. Oh boy, don't tell me. So, it sucks when something good has to end, but also sucks when you just keep inventing more plot until you don't like it anymore. That equilibrium. I guess it sucks either way. That balance, if you will. Is the nature of all things. They come to an end. Do fall silent. And they slowly eat while making their way through their respective reading material. Except Natsuki doesn't seem to be touching the food at all. You don't go out during the weekends, right? Excuse me? Like with friends at the mall or downtown or whatever? Not a total shut-in, you know? Oh, my bad for making assumptions. Well, I'm sure I go out often than other people like you and the others in the club. I don't really meet with friends and arbitrarily spend time like that, but I'm usually meeting with my board game group. Yo, I want a board game group. That'd be sick. Board game group. It doesn't matter. It's just more nerdy stuff. Why do you ask anyway? I was just curious. Like, I just realized how I couldn't picture it, so I was just curious. Yuri looks at Natsuki and realizes that she's shaking. Don't look at me like that. I'm sorry. Natsuki pulls her knees to her chest and her head down. I can't take this. Did I do something? Yuri gets flustered and her mind racing over what she may have said or done. I did. I did it. I texted them earlier telling them, and then I blocked them because I was afraid of their responses. And now it feels like I'm dying inside. Oh, that's... I'm sorry. Really unsure of what to do, Yuri could barely find the words to support to offer. Meanwhile, the sound of Natsuki's unusually hard breathing fills the air. She now speaks again, barely above a whisper. Help me. I feel sick and I just want to hit my head against things. Please help me, I can't take this. You're having a panic attack. With that realization, Yuri's demeanor suddenly changes. I have experience with this, so I'll help you through it, okay? Natsuki meekly nods her rapid breath, still head buried in her knees. Yuri slides herself over next to Natsuki, sits one step behind her. Then she puts her hand on Natsuki's shoulders. New CG. Can you feel my hands? Natsuki nods. Her shake becomes more apparent, though Yuri sends a touch. Yuri keeps her voice low and gentle. You're safe right now. You're in a good and safe place where nothing can hurt you. Natsuki nods once more, and Yuri, although touching Natsuki's shoulders, she will practically erasing pulse against the back of her neck. We'll do a breathing exercise together, and all you have to do is listen to my breaths and breathe along with me. Breathe in now. Just slowly breath. Beneath her hands, she holds Natsuki's shoulders. Rise. Natsuki takes a breath of her own, trying to mimic Yuri. They exhale together, although Natsuki's breath shakes on the way out. That's good. Let's keep going. Yuri's in once more, and Natsuki joins her. They continue like that for a few more cycles, while Yuri closely monitors. I don't know where Yuri got that experience from, but but Natsuki's lucky. Yuri feels Natsuki rest more than the weight of Yuri's own palms. Let's focus on the physical world. All I have to do is focus on the feeling of your breath going in and out. And the weight of my hands on your shoulders. You're in a safe and comfortable physical space. New CG? New CG? Oh, dang it. Minutes pass in silence. By now, the worst of it is past, and now Yuri's determined not to move away until Natsuki prompts her to. Meanwhile, Natsuki's lifted her head off her knees, and her breathing is mostly steadied. She takes a final deep breath and slowly pulls herself to her feet, causing Yuri to let go. She stretches her arms. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to freak out. I don't know what my deal is. You don't have to apologize. That must be enormously stressful for you. Is that gonna keep happening? May or may not. We can take measures to help prevent it in the future, but I think it will naturally get better over time. Natsuki motions to sit back down again, so Yuri moves over. Yuri turns away to pick up her book from the dusty floor, which she had to hastily sit down earlier. She brushed the dust off the cover. I don't think I could have gone through that alone. You're not alone. Feeling shy again, Yuri speaks into her own lap. From now on, you don't have to do anything alone. As she said that, Yuri tenses up. It's rare for her to openly share her thoughts, but something about Natsuki of all people, it makes it seem much more natural to do so. Perhaps because like Yuri, Natsuki's so timid and uncertain of herself. Natsuki did such a good job hiding it when it's taken a long time for Yuri to finally realize it. And because of that, Yuri is able to deliver the reassurance of herself that she would have wanted, demonstrating you would deserve the love of others. And if you can accept that for the long time, you can begin the tumultuous journey of learning to love yourself. New CG unlocked. You really mean that? You're probably gonna regret saying that if you do. How so? Cause I'm probably gonna have a lot of free time during the weekends from now on, and you give me permission to be as annoying as I want to drag you around a lot of places. I see. But you already said it, so you can't take it back now. Ah, well, I suppose I have no choice but accept responsibility then. I know a good ice cream place. Oh, that means we'll finally figure out my favorite ice cream flavor, huh? What are you talking about? Oh, you don't remember? The first day you came into the club, you guessed everyone's favorite ice cream flavor. I mean, you said you had no idea. Seriously? I don't remember that at all. Oh wait, yes I do. I said it's probably green tea. He shakes her head. Good guess, my favorite's usually chocolate and raspberry together. Chocolate and raspberry? How fancy. How's that fancy? Oh, I don't know. Feels like I should have guessed something like that. Well, maybe next time I'll try chocolate strawberry. Hey, strawberry's my favorite. What a coincidence. My favorite's vanilla. I think it helps to have something to look forward to. I still have this sick feeling in my stomach. And it's easier now to convince myself that I did the right thing. Is there anything better I could be doing? Not that I know of. There is nothing that'll make this easy for me, and you already did more than I thought anyone could. Come to think of it, we never talked about the letter you wrote. I feel like we're way past that at this point in time. We know how to talk about it, except that I think it helped me understand my needs a little bit better. The way I like to be treated, and the kind of friends that I want to have. That's why I started coming here in the first place. I thought it was even though I was so scared of causing more problems. I thought that it was a coincidence that you ran into me initially. Oh, well, not exactly. What do you mean? Nothing. I may have tracked you down first with the help of Sayori. But you said I was shy, okay? I wasn't ready to, whatever. You know what I'm saying. Well, I guess I'm glad you worked up the courage, even though it was in your own way. You can tell that you've been making a lot of difficult decisions. Brave, and it will make things better in the long run. I think anyone would be proud of you for it. Anyone? You mean like you? Yup. Like me. You know, I could get used to this, as long as you don't tease me too much. Fine. Just a little then. That's fine. What's fine? I know uncertain everything feels to you right now, but I really do think it's that good things are in store. Those are my honest feelings. Thanks. Feels nice to be reassured. Two girls continue the conversation through the remainder of lunch, although a new feeling hangs in the air, a feeling of greater certainty in their path forward. In just a few hours, they'll be into another literature club meeting where the 4 club members will happily spend time together. Each with them, they're all special qualities and something unique that they can deliver to one another. Their friends and literature and club members will continue to grow and find new happiness together. At the end of each chapter, at the start of the next, Yuri thinks to herself that she's about to finish her long-running series. It'd be best to have a new book lined up. Perhaps this weekend it'd be a good time to visit the bookstore together. Alright, I think we got more CGs, more pictures, good stuff. But we do have one more story. This is the last one. When you complete all the side stories, you get this little thing. So, this is equals. So, just one part long. Okay, everyone! We're gonna be taking a break from the usual activities today. I was thinking, since people are starting to talk about the festival, it's a good time for us to go over the general direction of the club and all that. I think it will help us figure out what to do for the festival, you know? Oh, Sayori and I already come up with a really good plan. Really? For the festival? Yeah, so the plan is this, okay? You and Yuri will collect information on time which clubs and classes are doing food booths. Then we take a map and plan the most efficient route, and we get the most of them before the night gets too long. Hey, that has nothing to do with the club. Wait till let me finish. Alright, fine, go ahead. So basically, we get all the food we can, then we come back here, we all eat together. That's all. Wow, I got tricked by the toys with the same joke. Boo! Don't be a hater. It's not like you come up with any better. Like even Yuri was thinking about it. No, I wasn't. I would really prefer doing something literature related. We can eat together anytime. The festival is a unique opportunity. Besides, it's been quite a while since I've seen any new interest in the club. I was thinking the same thing since we got a shout out showing people what the literature club is all about. I tell you what, we can do together until we can do both, right? We'll make time for your food mission and still put together a public event. Oh my gosh, yes! I was just joking, that's a really good idea. Well, I'm glad that's settled. And the question is, how do you come up with an event that demonstrates everything you can get out of the literature club? That's kind of tough because everybody gets something different out of the club. Okay, how about this? Let's go around and have each of us talk about what we've gotten out of the club so far. It can really help us figure out what kind of reputation we want to build. Yeah? That's too embarrassing. We have so much to talk about. That's exactly why. I'm sure Natsuki feels the same way. Well, maybe if I didn't plan on arguing against it or anything. I mean, it's a literature club. We talked about this stuff together, right? There's the only way to get more comfortable with it, so suck it up and do it. Oh, you're not wrong. I'm sorry for being resistant. It's not good to say suck it up because it sounds like their feelings don't matter. Right, my bad. It's just a habit I hate to break. Well, anyway, who's gonna start? I'll start. I was first to join, after all. Wouldn't that be me? No, I want to go first. Fine. You can start. I don't mind. Yay! So, God, I feel like so long ago. I think I joined because I want to have fun sharing poems with people. It seemed like it'd be a safe way to express myself, but now it was just a poem that I could share without feeling like I'm burning them with my problems. That'd be a really good way to get to know other people too. So yeah, I was totally surprised when I walked in. It was just Monica. It is, she was sleeping. Don't remind me of that. Oh gosh. Yeah, but it seemed like it'd be so fun to help start a new club, especially because since writing helped me so much, I wanted to see if other people wanted to help put her too. But it ended up being me who was inspired because like Monica was just so sweet and mature that I could trust her with anything. You feel a lot less alone and having someone who even knew the bad things about me. And at that point, I knew the literature club was gonna be special for a lot of people. Yeah, I felt the same way. It really helped me get the club more cohesive vision. Yeah, and then Yuri joined, and she was so different from us, and Natsuki too. I think for Yuri, it really helped me take the lead because she was able to open up a little. Natsuki was kind of the opposite, where she wasn't ready to get really close to someone really quickly. I never really thought about that sort of thing. I really feel like I've gotten better at understanding people's different needs. Sorry. And that makes me really happy because my friends are the most important things to me. And whatever new members we get, I want to help them in those ways too. I don't know if I could continue coming to the club if it weren't for you. Really? I know it was too long ago, but I heard something about behavior back then. I was really short-sighted. The only reason I came to was to find others who were into fantasy, and I suppose that was my idea, making friends with people. And I remember that I feel like uncomfortable because you and I have such different energy. It was such a specific idea of the kind of person I could be friends with, so since they already tried so hard to get to know me, I felt like I was just wasting their time. I think I was naive to assume that similar interests were the key component of friendship. Sayori and I were able to be friends because she always thinks about the needs of other people. And that's something I never knew how to do, or even thought to do. But I say the club thanks to that because I started trying as hard as I could to understand people better. Alright, I'm looking at my desk for something. Alright, no, never mind. I found it. Really went above and beyond when it came to that. I was just super impressed. Well, I always hated that I didn't know how to behave like a person who was easily liked by others, so the two of you can. And because of that, I spent so much time thinking about my own behavior instead of all the wrong things I said. But the whole time, I should have been thinking about other people's oh gosh. I accidentally cranked up the volume. When I started doing that, I was able to make friends with everyone else. Also, I discovered that sometimes I'm a better communicator when I think there's to write rather than speak. It's so strange, but the way things turned out, but it's so far from different from anything I ever would have expected. But I'm happy. I suppose you don't always know what we really need. Oh my gosh, you're so cute. I'm gonna throw up. Okay, please don't do that, Sayori. Besides, I'm not cute. Hey, isn't that my line? Oh, for me, it's actually true. So, what are you saying? Nothing. I finished my part, so somebody else take their turn. My heart! Sayori, take some deep breaths. Okay, fine, I'll go. Yuri, I can't believe you were complaining about doing this stuff. It's so wet for me. What a show off. I was just following up on Sayori. It was easiest to get it over with. Besides, what's the most important thing that you got out of this club? I did? Yeah, a regular supply of your favorite cupcakes. Oh no, I forgot that too. I'm a traitor to the cupcake queen. Neither of you are forgiven. Looks like only Monica will be getting cupcakes next time. No! I can't eat that many cupcakes. Yeah, true, only Yuri can. Hey! Anyway, I'm just putting off talking. It's kind of hard to talk about this stuff. But I guess when it comes down to it, I'm a much better place mentally than when I first joined. And that's because everyone in the club helped me realize that I had some really toxic friendships going on outside the club. It was honestly a really painful thing to go through, having to cut them out, and it still hurts to think about. I'm sorry, Natsuki. It's fine. I knew it was for the best. And I was right. Because for me, it's all about feelings. I was only ever ridiculed for having feelings, so I figured the right thing to do was just ignore them. It took me a really long time just to realize that this is not really how things are supposed to work. And I guess thanks to everyone who took the time to respect my feelings, even when I was being the biggest jerk. I started being a jerk to everyone. It was really the worst. Natsuki's voice chokes a little. We love you, Natsuki. I just hate that I was like that. Everyone did so much for me that I could never do anything in return. That's not true. Natsuki, you've done a lot more than you think. This club really wouldn't have been the same without you, and I mean that. Remember how judgmental I was when you first showed up? With I couldn't accept anything other than my own idea of what a literature club was supposed to be. Apparently, that was more important to me than the opportunity to bring you some happiness. You really taught me that anything that makes someone happy is worthy of respect. It means you inspired me to start playing piano. That's what that means a whole lot to me. And there's no need to put yourself down. Okay. Natsuki wipes her eyes. You helped me a lot too. It's so much fun having you around, and you helped me become a better person. Having a problem doesn't make you needy or inconvenient. It just means that there's something that needs to be better for you, and you always deserve that. If everybody kept these lessons in mind during the main game, then that whole disturbing crap would have never happened. Ugh. I agree, because I think this is like a prequel stories. I think these are prequel stories. If everyone just kept these lessons in mind, I feel like nobody would have had to die in the main story. Anyways, I wouldn't want to change anything about our time here. I don't think any of us would. I'm sorry I got all dramatic again. That's what I wanted to say, so Monica can go now. There is no need to apologize. It was something I wanted to talk about anyway because it made a big difference for me. I was always such a strict perfectionist who never took any time to believe in the best of other people. But everyone kept proving me wrong. I made the mistake multiple times thinking my way was the best for everyone. Or thinking that I needed to solve other people's problems. I was like, being a leader means you have to acknowledge that you're not perfect and that the best thing you do is help guide people rather than not to do everything for them. We're all good people, we're all equals, and I think the most important thing I've gotten out of the club is realizing what that really means. So, what are you doing? I just thought that we should be writing some of these things down. Things about the club that are valuable to us. With a piece of chalk in our hands, so we write the word trust on the chalkboard. This is because you showed me I could trust you everything about me, not just my good side. Oh, now that understanding is next. Maybe the chalkboard is that's understanding. I owe a lot of gratitude to everybody who took the time to understand me, even though it was so difficult for me to express myself. What's next? What was next? Oh, I forgot what was next. Like reflection, self-love, balance. It was like respect. Yes, respect. In that case, when I take a piece of chalkboard, write the word respect. I always thought that I was a respectful person, but it took the club for me to realize there was a lot more to it than I thought, and I'm a better person because of it. I have another one. She's gonna write balance. What's the word balance? Because sometimes people want different things out of a friendship, or they need the time before they're ready to become close. So it's important to keep things balanced between you and the other person. That reminds me. Reflection. He writes the word reflection. I've always been a reflective person, but most of it has been nothing more than hating myself for all the things that I did wrong. When I started reflecting on other people and not just myself, a lot of things changed for me. So I think that's the most important one for me. Hey, we have a whole list now. Natsuki's gonna write self-love. Suddenly everybody starts looking at Natsuki. Well, everyone took all the chalks. Don't look at me, jeez. Could have just asked. Natsuki hands her a piece of chalk to Natsuki. Then Natsuki writes self-love. And I don't know how far I've gone with it yet, but it feels like things are at least on the right track. So there's my contribution. Everyone together looks at the words on the board. Now who's gonna write equals? Wasn't this supposed to be about literature? It is. We still do a lot of literature. You know, there's a club in my school called Our Minds Matter, and I feel like this is like the type of stuff that goes on in there. Friendship and literature. Yeah, you're right. Friendship and literature. That's asking Yuri gently nod as well. Hey, let's take a picture together. We don't have one, right? Hey, you're right. Make sure you send it to me after. Wait, can I brush my hair first or something? Oh, you're fine. You already have the best hair out of all of us. Everyone get together. I can't fit you all in. Okay. Everyone ready? And click. We're glad we talked about all this stuff. It's really easy to forget how far we've come with only 4 members. Yeah. I have so many happy thoughts right now. I'm getting some really good inspiration for a poem. No, I feel the same way. I kind of want to get some writing done. Me too. Think we could maybe like that as well. Everyone's looking at me again. I'll do it too. I might not feel like sharing it. Just everyone's happy that there's Natsuki. That's okay. 4 members of the literature club dispersed, return to their desks, each equipping themselves with a pen. Natsuki and Yuri give themselves a quick glance, start writing immediately. Sayori stretches and does the same. A Monica's left tapping her pen against the paper, unsure of where to start. You good? Move your hand, Monica mouths to herself. Right the way into your heart. Mind full of thoughts, memories, inspiration, Monica navigates past the mental barriers and begins to write. It doesn't matter what, it's just something new. Yo, another montage? Oh, that's it. That's it. Dang, you got some credits. We got more credits. There was a credit scene after the main game, but now we get to see a real credit sequence because you guys didn't get to see the other one. So I'm gonna say this again. Thank you guys for making such a great, meaningful game, even though it does have some disturbing moments that I had to private due to, like I said, my living firewall. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this game, because I know I did. Yeah, I mean, I just have to say all the stuff I said before. But I hope you guys enjoyed these side stories. They have a lot of very impactful messages to them. Really nice. So it was really nice looking at all these nice messages. I feel like we can all take something away from the trust, understanding, respect, balance, reflection, self-love, all that. We can all take something away from it. So maybe a few anime girls can tell you that. I can just make a series that anime girls tell you how to be a better person. Yeah. But I love these shorts. I love these short side stories. They're really nice turn from the darkness that is in the main game. So it's refreshing to know that. It's refreshing to just look at some of these nice things. Watching all these characters overcome their own personal conflicts to become better people in the end. Thank you, dear player, for enjoying our story on friendship and literature. You're very welcome. Made with Love by Team Salvato. And of course, Serenity Forge. Oh, and it's at the picture. Friendship and literature, achievement unlocked. Okay, we got some more pictures. Even more. We got this CG right here. Now, okay, now everybody make a funny face. Yuri's making a mustache. I figure that's gonna be everyone's wallpaper. What's this? We have Celebrate Monty's birthday in 2019. Oh, cool. Okay, we have music. Well, guys, I guess that'll be it for Doki Doki Literature Club, and I'll see you all later. Goodbye.